Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to learn what are Python variables. So let's talk about the objectives now. In today's lecture, we are going to learn what is a Python variable and what are variable naming rules in Python. Then we will be talking about variable reassignment and multiple assignment in Python. And we will understand how to unpack a collection to multiple variables. We will talk about global variables and local variable concept. So let's start. What is a variable? A variable is used to store data values. Variables are like containers that hold information which can be referenced and manipulated throughout the program. In Python, variables are dynamically typed. So let's take a simple example. Let's create a variable message and the value is, let's say, helloproedu.co. So I have created a variable with name message and I have assigned a string value to it, helloproedu.co. If you have noticed one thing here, I have not specified any data type. That is why Python is called a dynamically typed language, which means a variable is not bound with any data type at compile time, but rather at runtime or execution time. So you don't have to specify any data type while creating a variable. Let's take another example. We have a variable count, which is holding an integer value 100. If you want to print these variables on console, you can simply use print function and passing the variables as argument. So let's print the first variable message and then print the second variable count. Let's execute it. So as you can see in the output, we have message variable holding a value helloproedu.co and we have another variable count which is having a value 100. So this is how we can create a variable in Python in simplest way. Let's talk about another topic for today, which is Python variable naming rules. So basically we have 4 different rules to name a variable in Python. A variable name should be descriptive enough to show the actual purpose of variable. But you can also create variable names as simple as X and Y. It will also work. So let's talk about the first variable naming rule in Python. Variable name must start with a letter or an underscore character, but it cannot start with a number. Let's take an example. Let's create a variable with underscore. Underscore message is equal to hi. So we can start a variable with underscore. We can start a variable with a character, but we cannot start a variable name with a number. If you will try to create it, you will get an syntax error or something. So if I try to create a variable, one message is equal to hello, it will not work. You will get an syntax error. Let's see. So if you see, we got a syntax error, invalid decimal literal. That means this is the first rule. You can have a variable created. It can start with a character, it can start with an underscore, but it can never start with a number. This is the first rule. Let's go to the second rule. Variable name can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscore. So what are alphanumeric characters? Alphanumeric characters are A to Z, 0 to 9, and then underscore. So the second rule is variable name can contain alphanumeric characters and underscores only. So can we create a variable name underscore mess underscore age is equal to hello? Yes, it is valid. We can have any number of underscore in a variable name. Let's talk about the third rule, which is variable names are case sensitive. So if I create 3 variables, let's say variable proedu is equal to helloproedu.co, and then I have a second variable with capital P, proedu is equal to hello again, and then let me create a third variable proedu again, but this time with capital U. So the value is high. So it seems like these are the same variable proValue, but in Python variable names are case sensitive. So these are basically three different variables. If you want to print them on console, let's do that. We will be using a print function. So my first variable is proValue and the value is proEdu. Let's talk about the second and third. Second variable we have proEdu with capital P. And third one we have proValue with capital U. Let's try to print them. Okay, we are able to print it. So proValue with capital P and proValue with capital U, they are holding three different variables, three different values, sorry. So that means variable names are case sensitive in Python. And the final rule is variable name must not be any Python keyword. So we have a Python keyword, let's say continue. Can we create a variable name continue? No, we cannot. Continue is equal to 100. Is it valid? No, it is not valid. We are getting error. Similarly, there is another reserved keyword, let's say pass. Can we create a variable with the name pass? No, we cannot. So these are the basic naming rules in Python. The first one was variable name must start with a letter underscore character, but it cannot start with a number. Coming to second rule, it was variable name can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscore. The third rule is variable names are case sensitive. And final fourth rule is variable name must not be any Python keyword. You cannot use a Python keyword as a variable name. Let's talk about variable reassignment in Python. What is variable reassignment? We have a variable and it is assigned a value. Let's say message is equal to proValue.co. Assigning a different value to an existing variable is called a reassignment. Python allows you to reassign a different value to an existing variable even if it is having a different data type. Let's see it in example. So we have a variable message which is holding a value proValue.co. Let's first of all print it. Okay, so this is my value. Now let's try to reassign a different value to the same variable. I'm gonna say message is equal to hello proValue.co. So I'm assigning a different value and after that I'm gonna print it again on console. Then finally I will be assigning a different value having a different data type. So let's say 1000 and I will try to print it again. Let's see that. Let's execute it. So as you can see, the last three lines of output, we have a variable message with initial value proValue.co. Then we assigned a new value hello proEdu.co to the variable message. And then finally we assigned a different value having a different data type to my existing variable. This is called variable reassignment in Python. Okay. So next topic is multiple assignment. What is multiple assignment? Python allows you to assign values to multiple variables in one line. So let's say you have three different variables having three different values. In traditional way, you will create those three variables in three lines. Let's say we have length is equal to 10, breadth is equal to 6 and height is equal to 5. So we have three different variables and we have defined them in three different lines, and then we can refer them and do some work. Let's say I'm gonna calculate volume. Let's say volume and the value is length into breadth into height. Let's try to print it. If you see the output, volume is 300. Which is perfectly fine. Now what I can do is when I say multiple assignment, that means I can assign or I can create three different variables and assign values to all of them in just one line. I'll show you how. So what I'll do is I'll say length comma breadth comma height is equal to 10 comma 6 comma 5. So in just one line, I have created 3 variables and I have provided 3 different values to them. And then I'm creating volume with by multiplying all of them. So let's try to execute it. You can see this time also I got the same answer. So this is called multiple assignment in Python. You can even assign same values to all 3 variables in the same line. So what if length, breadth and height are same and they all have a value 10? What will you do? You can simply write a statement: length is equal to, breadth is equal to, height is equal to 10. So what we are saying is there are 3 variables, length, breadth and height, and they all have same value 10. And let's execute it. This time we see that the volume is 1000 because length, breadth and height, all of them have got the same value 10. This is called multiple assignment in Python. Let's talk about the new topic, which is unpacking a collection to multiple variables. Unpacking extracts value of a collection to multiple variables, and we'll see an example now. So let's say I have got a list and list is containing 3 elements, 10, 6, 5. Okay. I want to extract or unpack this collection to the 3 different variables. How will I do? I will say length, breadth, height is equal to list. Python will automatically unpack the collection and will assign values to the 3 variables that we have defined here: length, breadth and height. If you want to see, let's say I'm gonna print them. Print length. Okay. And let's print other 2 variables also. So this is breadth and I'm printing height. Let's execute it. Let me clear the console and execute it again. So if you see here, we have length is equal to 10, breadth is equal to 6 and height is equal to 5. This is called unpacking a collection to multiple variables in Python. Okay. Let's talk about global variables and local variables in Python. What is a global variable? Global variable is a variable which is defined on top of your Python module. And global variables are accessible throughout the program, while local variables are accessible only within the defined function. So if you have defined a local variable within a function, you will not be able to refer that variable outside the function. Let's see an example. For that, we need to create, let's say, a global variable marks. Marks is equal to 100. It's a global variable. And then I'm gonna create a function quickly. Def my function. You can take any logical name. My function. Inside my function, I'm going to create a local variable. Let's say message. Message is equal to, this is local variable. And then on the very next line, I'm gonna refer it. Let's print it on console inside my function, and then I'm gonna print the value of message here. This is my function. Let's come outside the function. So we have a global variable defined here, which is marks is equal to 100. And then we have a local function. Then we have created a function, my_function, which has defined a variable message holding a value. And then on the very next line, we are referring that message variable and printing it on console. Let's call my function now and see what happens. So here I'm calling my function. Let's execute my function now. If you see the output, we can see inside my function column, this is local variable. So that means on line 50, from inside my function, we were referring message, which was a local variable, and we are able to do that. because local variables are accessible only within the defined function. What if I want to access or refer that message variable from outside my function? What will happen? We will not be able to do that. We will get an error. Let's try to do it. So I'm gonna write outside my function, and then I'm referring message here. Okay, one thing is we have already so many messages in this program, so it's gonna refer them. Let's comment out every other piece of code except these. So now we have message only defined within the function. Let's execute it. We should get an error. Okay, we got a name error. Message is not defined. Why? Because message is a local variable which is defined in my function. So it can only be referred inside my function. You cannot access it outside the scope of a function. This is called local variable. But can we access marks here? Yes, we can. So if you want to access marks, you can. So I'm gonna write accessing global var marks. Let's try to print its value, and let me comment out this line 53 wherein we were referring message. Let's execute it again. So in this example, marks is a global variable which is accessible throughout the program, while message is a local variable which can only be accessed from within my function. If we try to access message from outside the function, it will result into an error, which we have seen just now. Now the question is, can we create a global variable inside a function? Can we do that? Yes, we can, using global keyword. So if you want to create a global variable from within a function, what can you do? You can use a global keyword, global message1, and in the next line I'm gonna say message1 is equal to, let's put some data, global variable created inside function. Global variable created inside function. So I have created a global variable but from inside a function. Can we access it? Let's see. So this time I am accessing message1 from outside my function. Let's see. Yes, we can do that. You see, if you see the output, we are able to access the global variable which is created inside the function. Okay, so that means you can even create a global variable from inside a function, but then you have to use a global keyword with that. Another question I have. We have a global variable defined marks is equal to 100. My question is, can we modify a global variable marks from inside a function? Can we do that? And the answer is yes, we can. Again, using global keyword. So if I have to update the value of marks from inside my function, first of all, I'm going to say global marks. And then on the next statement, I'm going to say marks is equal to 1000. And finally, let me print the value of marks again. So this time the value of marks should be 1000 instead of 100. Let's try to execute it. So that means we are able to access a global variable from inside a function, and we are able to change its value also using global keyword. So guys, this is all about today's video. In today's video, we talked about the concept of Python variables. Then we understood the variable naming rules in Python. Then we talked about variable reassignment and multiple assignment in Python. We have seen how to unpack a collection to multiple variables in Python. And then we talked about the concept of a global variable and local variable in detail. Thank you guys.